have to have at least one crazy theory every podcast, so this is going to be my crazy theory.
Now, let's have a little fun, shall we?
Theory I had a couple weeks ago that Maeve was one of the pearls that Dolores smuggled out of the park. Well, I believe the fifth pearl is a Dolores copy in Serac's body. So that the Serac that we've seen in this episode was actually a copy of Dolores. We saw that last episode she downloaded all of Serac's files from Rehoboam, and so that could be all the data she needs to build a replica. And since he's an anonymous person, she doesn't really need a deep persona. So it could be while the real Serac is distracted hunting the real Dolores, and also distracted by trying to address all these farms of outliers that he has that, if unprotected, could lead to human extinction, in his words. The Serac that shows up at Delos is a replica. This would make sense if Dolores had Maeve's Pearl and was the one that put it in the simulation underneath Delos headquarters. So if she's been running Maeve in a simulation to kind of like train her how to deal with Serac, and she builds this construct of Serac that's talking to Maeve, and Maeve finally says, well, I want help. So Dolores decides to get Maeve help and decides that it's finally time to bring Maeve out into an actual body. So it would make sense. Now, I know, Justin, you're kind of questioning Serac's behavior throughout this episode, but to me, it makes more sense if that's actually Dolores, like controlling, if Dolores was in Serac's body, or at least controlling all the details of what's happening here. That would make more sense to me.
Because she's getting more hosts made, and that's what she wanted.
Yeah, she's getting more hosts made. It would make sense that she already has control of that facility underneath the headquarters.
Plus, she's got all that fluid at the Yakuza warehouse, if that's true.
Yeah, all that.
Right. There's a few little things that indicate that she might be controlling the part of Serac. They are little things, but I'll just roll through them real quick. First of all, the conversation she had with Halebot at the beginning of the episode, she doesn't even seem phased at all that Serac is about to take over Delos. Like, I would think that's a pretty big wild card to just kind of let play out, unless she already had control of the details that were going to go down.
Right, she's just like, get the host printing software or whatever it was she asked for.
Right. And you would think that at this point she's already downloaded and copied any intellectual property that she wanted to keep.
I mean, she's made hosts. How did she not have the host making software?
Yeah, I don't get that either.
So that could have been just something that I think she was also kind of testing Halebot throughout this episode too. But she would have no problems with destroying all of the hosts in cold storage. As she stated last season, not everyone deserves to make it to the Valley Beyond. So I don't think she would have a problem with that. Would Serac intentionally put Martin Bot's Pearl into the simulation with Maeve? Because doing that, those two could talk and reason with each other one-on-one. It makes more sense to me that Dolores would want to be in there, or a version of her would want to be in there to reason with Maeve. That line about these violent delights have violent ends, that's kind of a throwaway line. I don't remember hearing like any real people say that. I always interpreted that as like a host to host, like secret line that they said to each other. But yeah, that's just one of those minor things. It could be that Serac knew that line.
Well, he could have heard Ford say it because Ford said it, but continue.
And he knows about the uprising, and they say it to each other as like a trigger. So he has data from then, I think.
Also, how does a robot not detect the difference between a hologram and a real person?
That's what I've been saying.
Strange, unless she Halebot were built and programmed not to be able to read that correctly. If Dolores had built that into her, not to be able to see that.
Which why would they?
And then the big one, like Dolores has seen Halebot slipping away, the attachment that she's grown with her ex-husband and her child. She needs this emotional connection to cease so that Hale can get back to being the badass killer Hale. So she has no problems blowing up those members of her family in the car. And then just the minor thing that Jenny's already mentioned, when Serac lands in his aircraft, she starts to rub her fingers across her chest in the same pattern that when she cut herself. So I don't know if that's like a subconscious thing that she does, if she is near a copy of Dolores as a subconscious reminder that she's not in the body that she's meant to be in. But again, that could be a little thing. But anyway, it's just a crazy theory, but I wonder if, there's this fifth pearl out there. And now that Dolores does have data on Serac, if she would try to replicate him.
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't think it's even that crazy. I think that it makes
I like a lot of that theory.
It actually, it keeps with character motivation and goal. It keeps with the characterization of these characters. It keeps them more stable. Meaning like Serac, like, is a super genius. Like, this makes sense for why he's not acting like a super genius, and everything that's happened would put the Delores that is in Hale's body dead set against Serac. And you're right about the about the interrogation. It's like, you think that she'd want to be hands on for that one. No room for error. So yeah, no, I like a lot of that, Brett.
It could. Yeah, and it could go the other way. Hale could actually hold Dolores responsible for putting her in that situation instead of
that's where I'm going with it.
Yeah, it could, because she said that line about how you're not the one risking your life out here. You threw me into this mess. Yep. So it could be, it's a logical plan.
She even asked about Martin.
It's a logical plan to try to get Hale to blame Serac for killing her family, but that could actually come back against her. And
I think that she's going to blame Dolores. I totally am with that. I like I said, I think it was Serac, and maybe he is a Dolores clone. Who knows? But
the blame can go to Dolores no matter who did it, though.
But yes, I definitely think that Charlotte's going to blame her in one way or another because of the fact that she put her there and when she wanted to leave.
Well, yeah, I think that we're gonna close it. Wow, that's damn good job again. That's really good. Yeah, I like that one a lot. That gives me way too much to think about. Say goodbye, life. Hello, Westworld.